How's it going, guys? And welcome to TheBlueShifting, and welcome to our first ever Cosmere Community Fundraiser. During this video, I'll be taking you on a quick tour through the organization we will be supporting through the Cosmere Online Charity. I will also share with you the details of the event so that you can participate in your own way. I'm in downtown Chicago now with a wonderful opportunity working at Open Books, a fantastic organization that works at bringing literacy and book loving and writing fun to children across this area who have little access to such things. Having spent my time here at Open Books, I feel it is a very worthy cause for us to work together towards. And in fact, I feel this is the best thing we could do to help other people learn to love reading as much as we have. But for the details, I'm going to hand you over to a friend of mine. So, first off, what's your name and what do you do?
Curtis Shaw Flagg, Marketing Director at Open Books. Open Books is a literacy nonprofit social venture where we actually take retail bookstores. We have 2 retail bookstores. We collect donated books from everywhere. We use those books to either fund our literacy programs through the retail sales at our bookstore. We use those same donated books in our programs. We also grant those books back out into the community. What we do is we transform lives through reading, writing, and really the unlimited power of used books. So we have reading programs, writing programs, and then our bookstores, which sell donated books, used books. We have a small new book section, but we're 95% donated used books. And that's what we look to do. We look to transform lives through those different avenues. So, maybe a reader who is unfamiliar with books or maybe wasn't even a reader to begin with, we really look to transform, their outlook on literacy and literature. We're selling the books, but we're also trying to get books in the hands of students who may never had a book before. So once we get these books in, our bookstore team does an amazing job of processing these books, sorting them, making sure there's not names in the books, So when we have students from our program and we invite them into our bookstore to, possibly have their first book ever, there's not another name in the book. They own that book. That book is theirs. It may be a used book, but to them, it's a new book. There has to be a financial backing in order to make those programs run, in order to make the schools run. And so that's where, from the private to public donors and to the book donations, those all go towards, our programs.
Not only does Open Books teach, instruct, and provide reading material for students and teachers who need it desperately, but they also provide very exciting writing programs, including their publishing program, which takes the books and stories written by young readers and turns them into their own private novel.
With Publishing Academy, we distribute the books, so we actually have books published. So the students all have their own, novel that they can, share with friends and family. We have those available on our website as well.
As I interviewed Curtis about his role in Open Books, I quickly learned that he wasn't just somebody who jumped into the program at management level. Instead, he started as a tutor and fell in love with the program and has been there ever since.
I started as a reading buddy. And it's pretty much self-explanatory. You have a student, then you're a reading buddy. You go over prose, word composition, sounding out words. You can start with an easier book that, they may know already, and you kind of work your way up and really kind of help them through the process of learning how to read. It's a literacy enrichment program. However, there are some intervention areas where struggling readers do need kind of that help. And then you kind of serve as a coach.
After basically dedicating his life to the program at Open Books, I had to ask him where he first got his start and how he fell in love and knew that Open Books was something he wanted to be a part of for the rest of his life. He said it all started back when he was first starting his tutoring coaching.
When I was a reading buddy, 5-6 years ago, at McCutcheon Elementary School. It was in Uptown, and I would walk there, and I had a box of books, and there were children's books. There was like Robin Hood, Cinderella, and I had like a pop-up version, and then it kind of went up to like harder versions of the book. So I would bring these books in, and the student and I, we had 2 students, we would read the book, and after they completed the book, I would give them the book. My first day, I had a student, Davion, who was amazing, just didn't really like to read. It wasn't his thing. He also didn't want to be there. So it was kind of hard to really break the ice with him because, the way this classroom is set up, you could actually see the playground. So it was after school at this point in time. And so here we are after school when he doesn't feel like he should be there anyway, having to read. And he's looking outside at the playground and he sees his peers playing. They play basketball in the jungle gym, just having a grand old time. And now he's like stuck in this classroom with me, it was like probably socially awkward at that moment because it was my first day and he did not want to be there. And I was trying everything in my power just to get him to understand, why we were there and try to make it fun and try to make it interesting, but he just wasn't having it. So he ended up calling his brother and it was like, this guy, won't let me leave. And I was like, oh no. So his brother comes and I think I'm gonna get beat up at this point. And I'm like, oh no, this is my first day. And so his brother's like, hey, my brother says you won't let him leave. And I'm like, well, he can leave anytime he wants, but and I gave him an idea of what we were there for. I was trying to help him read at grade level. He was struggling. He wasn't really comprehending. And so we were kind of brought in to help. And his brother actually got it. And he was like, look, anything this guy says, you listen to him. He's here to help you. And so that was the first kind of green light that I got. And he started to kind of change. We made progress over the rest of the year. Fast forward 3 years, we're doing a creative writing workshop. And Adventures in Creative Writing is what it was called, in River North, and he comes in with his junior high. So he's in junior high now. He was in elementary school before the first time I met. I think it's fourth grade, third or fourth grade. And he comes in with his junior high, and we're doing a creative writing workshop. And I recognize him, he recognizes me. I'm like, Davion, what's up? And he's like, oh, hi, Curtis. I'm like, so how have things been going? He's like, great. He's like, I love reading now, I love writing. He's like, I think I want to be a writer when I grow up. And I'm just bawling. I'm like, I'll be right back. I go in the bathroom and I'm crying because you take a student that had zero interest, couldn't have wanted to read less, couldn't have wanted to write less. And you just kind of show them that there's this endless world, of adventure and creativity and wonder, and reading and writing, and they latch on to that. And not only do they latch on to it, but he's looking at it as a career path. And that's something that will always stick with me. And I was like, that was the first time that I felt like what I was doing really mattered. Beyond watching him actually see progress in his reading and his, reading comprehension and writing and creative writing, was to see him actually say that, this is something that I want to do with my life. So who knows, check out the name Davion. Maybe he'll take a surname or, an alias or something. But, to see that, passion build, in a young student was too much for me to bear at the time. And I was in the bathroom okay, I have to wipe these tears because this is so intense for me right now. But that was definitely when I knew that I would probably be with Open Books forever.
I asked him, out of all the different things that people could do to support Open Books, what was the thing that he thought was the most important? His answer surprised me.
Mainly it's sharing our organization with others. Telling people about Open Books, because if you can't give personally, there's probably someone in your network, a friend, a family member, a coworker that might be able to. So just as easy as contributing yourself is also finding someone, a referral, that can help as well. So if you can't give yourself, if you're strapped for cash, or if you don't have any books that you can give, just sharing the good word of Open Books really goes a long way. The possibilities are endless. The more you dive into books and the more you dive into that kind of creative side of your brain, the more you grow really as a person, and open yourself up to opportunities, open yourself up to adventure, and just really be able to kind of live life, to the fullest.
The time that I spent here with Curtis was amazing, and I was very, very honored to be able to hold this interview. But of course, as a major Brandon Sanderson fan, I had to ask, And I think for the last question, because this has been a fantastic interview, have you ever read anything by Brandon Sanderson?
I haven't, and I will now. So like, you got a new fan, or you definitely have like a new book sale coming out of it. But I'm very interested to learn more about it.
It wasn't just a reading program that got us interested in open books. On the website Charity Navigator, you can look through and investigate many different types of nonprofit charities who publish all of their proceeds, expenditures, and how the money of any donation is used. The money they receive will go towards all of their programs. This includes reading instruction and tutelage, but also providing transportation for children to move to their various programming sites, special camps and writing groups to help encourage and foster learning and self-determination. When we first had this idea as community members, we thought it might be just time for us to start giving back. I mean, we all love Brandon Sanderson's works. We love the work with the Cosmere. We think these books are fantastic, and they brought a lot of joy into our lives. So now's the time where we can start spreading some of that joy to people around us. Many of you may not be around the Chicago area. As a matter of fact, there's many of you who may not even be inside the United States. However, this is an opportunity where we can spread growth and love and learning to a community that desperately needs it. Obviously, there are many other avenues you can do as well. If you want to support a local charity, I strongly encourage you to do so. However, this is going to be a fantastic opportunity because throughout the day of our broadcast, now remember, our broadcast will be happening for about 12 hours. During that time, your donations are going to help build to some interesting goals we're going to start setting. There are some things that our people are going to consider releasing early if we can get this done right. There are challenges that are going to be faced. I imagine I'm going to be eating a hot pepper at some point. Ultimately, we just want to be able to do the most good possible in the most entertaining way possible. And we're already such a fantastic community, I don't think it'll be very hard for us to get together and to pull something like this off. As a community, we've gotten together and decided that we want to do this on September 16th. That's right, the 16th should be an easy number for all of us to remember. On September 16th, which is a Saturday, I will be broadcasting on this channel a live stream where we're going to be showing video clips from things that people have been putting together, interviews with some of the people who work very closely with Brandon and some of his publishing groups, and also just some fun games I'm going to be putting together, including games like Jeopardy, a Hunger Games reenactment with all of our favorite cosmic characters, and potentially a game of Cards Against the Cosmere. That should be one of the things we'll do at the very end of the evening, and there's still more that we can do. In fact, if you have ideas, you want to participate, you want to become a part of this big event, please send me an email. We've got more things that we can do. We're always looking for greater ideas. But ultimately, just make sure to put on your calendar September 16th, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, hopefully we can do our best. We're also going to publish schedules and lists for people who are living in Australia and UK. Ultimately, we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to be a part of this function, and we want to do something that you can all enjoy. As a matter of fact, you'll also be able to see an edited version of this on my YouTube channel sometime after the broadcast. It may just be a highlight video, but I want you all to feel like you can participate. And I want you to know that we're going to be starting an Indiegogo, probably going to be going live just before the actual event, but we'll be continuing on for the rest of the month. So if you feel like you couldn't contribute during the broadcast, but you still want to, there will be opportunities to do so. And remember, all proceeds will be coming here to Open Books. As you know, they're a fantastic organization, and I really feel like we have a kinship of being able to help youths who live in areas called book deserts, places where they just don't have access to libraries or even just basic bookstores to be able to have a ton of things at home. It's so sad to know that illiteracy is something that's on the rise in many first world countries, especially amongst the poorer demographics. And I know I don't have a ton of money. I know you don't have a ton of money, but sometimes doing a little bit can help. And I know that we're a good community. You've all been so wonderful, and I love hearing and talking with you all, and I know that this is something that you're passionate about. I want you to know that this is something that we can do together, that we can do something to make people stronger. So please do me the favor. I don't ask this very often, but share this video. Get the word out there. We need people to know about this who are fans of Brandon Sanderson, even if they don't want to come for the silly, goofy things we'll be doing on the broadcast, which I guarantee you is going to have some kind of technical problem. The issue here is that we're going to try and change lives. And I want to make sure that this is something where we can do the most possible for other people. I'm so grateful to be in a position where I can even ask this of you. And then I want you to also understand that this is something that has been in the works for a long time. This is not just like I randomly decided to do it. There is a group of people together, and we've been working hard behind the scenes to get this all sorted out. And now is the time for you to take action. So enjoy the rest of your summer. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. And until the next video you watch with me or whatever you ever see me in next, I'll see you there.
The possibilities are endless. Like, the more you dive into books and the more you dive into that kind of like creative side of your brain, the more you grow really as a person, and open yourself up to opportunities, open yourself up to adventure, and just really be able to kind of live life, to the fullest.